Hard Hat's all about showing up to play hard, doing what it takes to win.
If you want to cement legacy, win another.
He's your third center.
You don't want to pump him up too much, but it's hard not to.
This is maybe the most I've ever agreed with you.
What's going on, people? I know people are chomping at the bit to get here. There's a lot of people in the waiting room chatting while the game was still going on. Great to see everybody here and a really fun, energetic, high energy, like fun basketball game. I'm the only sad loser who's going to be on this show that wasn't there tonight. Rod Blakely was there, gone it home to start the show. Jimmy Toscano, what? Jimmy Toscano is reporting from the Garden tonight. He will be indeed. And we've got Noah down there as well. So full house here on the Garden Report. And I mean, great game. I mean, a lot of things we're going to talk about, Sherrod. I think it not only felt like a playoff game in terms of the environment, I think it was coached like a playoff game. And I think the players played like it was a playoff game. This is, I think, the best start to finish intensity from both Tatum and Brown that we've seen all year.
Absolutely. And really, to me, you know, even though Tatum obviously had another 40 piece, which I think was like 29th of his career, something like that, but Jaylen Brown was that guy. And usually when we talk about Jaylen, it's with his scoring, and certainly he did some of that, obviously, but his defense on Luka was next level. When Jaylen talks about wanting to be an all-NBA defender, this is what he needs to do. His ability to pick Luka up full court, forcing him to, frankly, not get comfortable, turning the ball over, getting out in transition. This was Jaylen Brown defensively at his absolute best.
Yeah, and like again, every time we do this, it sounds like it's like I'm taking a shot, but like that's the difference, you know, like with full on minute to minute engaged, locked in Jaylen, which we saw in the playoffs and in the finals and through a lot of last season, versus, you know, what we've seen with the Celtics, some inconsistent defensive effort, though I don't think you can, you know, I think it's certainly been better of late, but like there's something about Luka that just gets Jaylen going.
It does.
And look, he doesn't get to be on him all game long. You know, this game was so interesting just in terms of, but it just jacks him up. He's focused, he's in it. You know, he's doing his thing. Like early on, he like rises to the challenge. It transfers over to the offensive end. So yeah, super engaged Jaylen there. But the whole first half was so interesting because it was just this. All right, they're gonna switch. They're gonna hunt Horford. Celtics are gonna hunt Luka, and they did it all night. And Celtics clearly got the better of that matchup. Yeah. And then on top of that, the Celtics did a pretty good job where they were trying to hunt Reeves as well and trying to get Horford the ball there in the post. The Lakers did their best to kind of keep that from happening a lot. But, you know, that was another matchup. And again, LeBron being at this stage in his career is not an elite defender anymore. He's got some chase down blocks, and obviously he's big and he's physical. It is hard for the Lakers to, it's amazing to me that they've played defense at the level that they've played it there when you've got to hide so many people on defense, you know, and it starts with Luka. It's just such an interesting game, right? And I agree, Kes. Who gives a crap? This is why I don't react much to the regular season stuff, because when the money's on the line, if this is what you're getting out of Brown and Tatum, you're fine. You're gold. You know, and especially Brown here. That's what you're getting. You're great. But the Luka is such an interesting thing, right? Because it just looked through 2.5, maybe through 3 quarters that, like, you know, I almost tweeted like, this is going to be the best Nico Harrison's going to sleep in a long time, you know? And then, you know, Luka still finds a way to just trip his way into a 30-something point game. So even bad Luka is a force to be reckoned with. But defensively, there's just, that's going to be a problem. And he's not in shape and he's not right. And he's going to get hunted here. And then, you know, he was frustrated early, a lot of it, you know, because of Jaylen Brown. But then you look at the line, it's like, that's not bad, you know, like, but again, he's a -19. The Celtics hunted him all night long. You got a 40 piece from Tatum, who was outstanding. I think got tired late.
Yeah.
Joe Mazzulla got tricky today. And this is what I said. He coached like a playoff game. He played them both the entire first quarter. Haven't seen that all year. He played both of them the majority of the third quarter with Brown coming out at the 3-minute mark. I thought Tatum would get his rest when Brown came back in. He didn't. He played the whole second half. So you could see that fatigue coming in, and I think that's a little bit why Tatum's line doesn't look as good. The 12 for 28 is kind of ugly. The 6 for 16 is ugly, and a lot of that is fourth quarter where he was fatigued. He didn't have his legs. He couldn't get to the basket as easily as he was, and some of those threes just weren't falling. But they did enough to hold on there, even though they did push it a little bit with how much they were playing their guys. They only went 8 deep, and they didn't play their bench that much. And let's just look at the starters' minutes here. They finished off with 45 from Tatum. Holy crap! 42 from 37 Horford, 35 Holiday. Surprised that he played at all. 35 minutes, 36 from Derek White. This was a Tibbs game.
Yeah. I mean, this was the game. This was an NBA Finals. I don't even think this was a playoff game. This was like finals rotation where you
this was exactly. Yeah.
And that to me, to be frank, I didn't think Joe had it in him to do that.
He did.
I thought Joe would play it a little bit more closer to the vest and just kind of play a little bit more towards what he is accustomed to playing versus showing his hand a little bit. But if these two teams meet in the finals, if the Celtics get back to the finals, this is kind of the rotation that you're likely to see. And obviously adding Porzingis to the mix, who didn't play, but this was good Joe Mazzulla coaching. This was really, really good coaching on his part. And they just did so many little things well, Jalen making the most of the matchups that were in his favor. Pritchard not forcing the action. Luke Cornett quietly giving you just real good, gritty, grimy, dirty points. Tatum misses a shot that he should make. There's Luke with the tip in. Little things like that, a shot that Jaylen Brown misses in the paint, in comes Drew Holiday for the offensive rebound. They did so many of the hustle, little detail type things that we don't see enough of from this team. It's a good reminder of who these guys are. This is a good reminder that they still have it in them, and they're going to need that to get back to the finals.
Yeah. And that's one you'll feel good about. And again, there's not a ton of games left circled on the calendar here as the Celtics are pretty much locked into a 2 seed. This was one of them. And it was fun. It was fun. I really did have a little bit of FOMO tonight, knowing you guys were all down there, and then seeing early NBC Sports Boston photo, like reunion photos that
I wish we could pull that photo up with me, Jimmy, and Rich Levine.
Levine.
That's my guy. That's my guy. Super
talented former columnist over at NBC Sports Boston back when it was Comcast Sports New England. Very cool. And then Toscano down there, getting to do his thing, back in his element.
Jimmy was a kid in a candy store. I mean, he had every reason to be in bobblehead Jimmy mode, just kind of walking around, just excited about everything.
Yeah,
it was good. This was a good game.
This was great. So I will say that third quarter, we talked about the intensity, and I think you got to look at that third quarter was just a friggin' chef's kiss. That is as good as they have played defensively all season long, and that's really where this game was won tonight. And they were on it, individually how they went about it. I mean, 29-13. I mean, the Lakers had 4 points with about 4 minutes left in the quarter. That was an unbelievable defensive effort there. You kind of wish they just completed they had them. They almost tapped out, and they got back into it. They got to 4 points. I never really thought it was gonna get there, but holy crap. That third quarter was just masterful defensive performance.
Yeah. And that fourth quarter, I mean, it was fueled in part by just slippage on the Celtics part. I mean, Jaylen Brown, there was one play where he was, upset that he didn't make a shot and he didn't get back quick enough on defense, led to a wide open three.
Yeah.
And it was little things. They had a couple of plays like that in the fourth. But to their credit, though, they were able to right the ship. And frankly, go back to the one thing that I don't think enough teams do against the Lakers. You got to play bully ball against them.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, they have a 6'8" point guard in Luka and a 6'9" wing in LeBron, but there are 3 other positions where you should be able to absolutely have your way. And I thought the Celtics did a really good job of just keeping the ball moving until they got the matchup that they could exploit, and they did just that over and over again.
Here in the chat, people talking some of the things here. Bench a concern? I don't think so. Again, you're going to shorten things up with a playoff rotation, and you're already down Porzingis, so everybody is bumping down a little bit. It was a short leash on the bench. Sam Hauser, only 12 minutes, got off one shot there. Peyton Pritchard, this wasn't the hot PP game here. He came in, 23 minutes, only made one shot, came out, launched a couple, wasn't really there. Didn't do it. Luke, as you said, some sneaky good Luke contributions, but they played it really, really, really tight there. I'll give a quick hat tip to Hauser and, just responding here to the chat. I'll give a quick hat tip to Hauser and Pritchard for those back-to-back possessions when they drew a switch on LeBron where they did need to give the starters a blow in the fourth quarter, and they both held up. They held up their own. Joe Mazzulla coming to the podium. We're going to hear from Joe here as the Celtics, as we said, take down the Lakers 111-101. Let's listen in to what Joe has to say.
Defense, individual defense. What does it mean for you guys to have them not only guard, but somebody like Jalen be able to guard Luka kind of straight up for most of the game?
Yeah, I mean, the toll that it takes, the mental and emotional and physical toughness that it takes to do what Jalen's able to do, and like he did tonight, is just high level by him. And Jason's ability to take pride in his individual defense, like when your best players, and you saw the possessions that Al had, when your best players take pride in individual defense, I think it sets a tone for your team, and those guys take on that challenge, and JB thrives taking on that challenge.
And you mentioned Al, they were targeting him, and he held his own against both LeBron and Luka. We keep talking about him like ageless wonder, but like what does that do for you guys? Yeah,
I mean, I think it motivates him. I think when people do it, it motivates him. And I got to watch 5 possessions of him defend at a high level. And at one point, I wasn't coaching; I was just watching him. And I was like, man, this guy's a future Hall of Famer. I get to watch this, for free. And you have to be able to have that perspective. And so I think he was motivated by that. And he's just an innate competitor, and it inspires our team.
Staying with Al at the other end of the floor, repeatedly was able to get Austin Reeves on switches and take advantage, get points at the rim. What did you see from him on that end?
Yeah, that was high-level execution by the guys and really team, basketball. But his ability to, get seals and force switches and do that was important for us, especially in that third quarter, to where we were able to get some stuff out of it playing through him and then get some stuff out of it by him drawing some 2-on-1. So just another layer of his versatility.
And then at the other end, in the third quarter, you guys held them to 13 points, 4-6 turnovers, limited the free throws and the second chance opportunities. What did you see as the keys to that overall success?
Yeah, you hit it. I mean, you have to play good offense to keep them out of transition. They got a couple leak outs, but we were able to take that away. We kept them off the free throw line. We took away their corner threes, and we were able to limit them to one shot. And so playing against a great team like that, the margins and those things are very important.
Joe, kind of back to what John said a little bit, they were trying to pick on Al and Peyton and Sam a little bit too in those one-on-one situations. What goes into building that trust as a defense to, don't help over from the corner, trust that they can stop, and how have you seen that trust grow over this last 2 years? I
mean, it hasn't been the last 2 years. It's been really, dating. This team has always had a defensive DNA, and these guys have always been coached and taught defense by, coaches before. And so it really isn't anything other than they take pride in individual defense. And when you do that, it gives you a chance every night.
Joe, I know you say every game is the same, and this had no significance, but you played Jason a season high in minutes, and you played Jalen almost 42. It seemed like there was something extra just tonight. What did you see? Was the atmosphere different? What did you take about this game?
Yeah, I mean, I said it before. I mean, obviously it's, the Celtic Lakers, and you're a part of that, and that's important. And, you can't let that distract you from the things that you have to do to lead to winning. And, I feel like there's moments that you give those guys chances to be able to be a part of that. And they're Al played 37. It was like everybody on this roster is, playing for a legacy, and you do it together. And I felt like that was a great moment for them to be able to compete at a high level for as long as they wanted to.
Is that kind of your way of showing them that this is not a normal game without saying it?
It's my way of saying that you better win. I like watching them play. So
Joe's just a fan.
Joe fan.
Joe, this was a pretty physical one out there. I'm curious if that was a point of emphasis for you, and either way, how
It's
you
always an
felt like
emphasis.
your guys worked through that physicality, because sometimes it seems like it was frustratingly physical at times.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was obviously it's a point of emphasis, especially playing against a team like that. They're a high level team, and you got to be physical. They're physical with us. We're physical with them. So I thought we did a really good job, especially in the start of the third quarter, and kind of after that initial run that they went on, we did a great job of maintaining our physicality, and it's important for us to continue to work through that.
With the defense, but 71 combined points, 10 assists from Jason and Jalen. What did you see from them offensively?
Yeah, there's been times where they've been called upon to make plays, and they both have made plays, whether it's for themselves or for others, and they're taking on that challenge, and they're doing a great job of it, getting to their spots, making the play that's necessary, and Jalen had 2 turnovers, which is great. JT had 3, which is great, and just their ability to make plays for themselves and their teammates important. Sometimes the game calls upon them to be great, and we need them to do it, and they both delivered. Thank you.
That is Joe Mazzulla at the podium as the Celtics take down the Lakers 111-101. Joe is just a fan. He likes watching guys play. That's why they're in there, and they were in there to win it. And that's what they did. They took down the Lakers, who've been playing great since the Luka trade, 111-101. What we also have is a special appearance from a well-dressed, Natalie-clad Jimmy Toscano down
Let's
at
go.
the
Should I go
Garden.
one button less for the boys?
I don't. You know what? What you need to go is one hard hat more.
It's after like one hard hat more.
Yeah, because you
I
going
love
down
that.
there traveling without a hard hat for this game is a choice, Jimmy.
I didn't want to deal with security tonight. I didn't want to, the whole to-do. I snuck it into the NBA Finals, John. Listen, I'm on my best behavior tonight. I want to be invited back. I want to be able to come back for the playoff run.
I want to get back into the club.
They couldn't kick me out in the last game of the season last year. It was too late by then. But I will have you know, John, Sherrod, you can vouch for me here. I was on my best behavior tonight. I didn't stir the pot. I didn't get into any arguments with any of the players, any of the coaches. I was on my best behavior. I was here 2.5 hours early, John, just on the court, hanging out, putting the vibe out. I saw Sherrod out there. I was chatting with Gary. I told Gary we got to get him on the show. I said he's a cult hero on our show.
Yes.
Gary.
Gary, he was like, just let me know so we can get Gary on here. Unbelievable atmosphere at the Garden tonight. I'm sure Sherrod, you mentioned it off, at some point, but electric in here. You could tell like an hour before. You remember when like the Warriors would come to town, the vintage Warriors? That was the feel you got tonight. LeBron coming out to shoot pregame. Everybody was watching Luka pregame. There was a buzz. And then the way the game started, I'll be honest, it felt like there was a good Lakers showing in here. Lakers got out to that hot start. But then you got to give the Celtics credit for just clawing back into things. And, man, that third quarter, I don't know what Mazzulla said to those guys at halftime, but they came out inspired to just play defense and just shut the Lakers down completely, make it difficult for Luka. Said this on the show a couple nights ago. Just get in his face, just be physical with him, make it difficult for him. And that's what they did in that third quarter. Loved what Horford gave them tonight. Lakers tried to go at him, and he just said, no, not tonight. He sunned LeBron at the end of that second quarter. Made LeBron his son, made Bronny his grandson. Just loved this game, man. This is a hard hat game. I do wish I had the hard hat tonight. I'm going to have to toss it on when I get home. But this is definitely a hard hat game. The
Great. Horford thing I find interesting because that was the matchup, right? Like that's what they went for all night long. And like watching, like this is why, it's again, the way Luka finished the game versus how he started it, like he couldn't get Horford locked him up. I mean, they were trying to hunt those switches, and Al was there the whole time. Luka was really struggling to get around him, and to get where he wanted to go and get to his spots and get what he wanted. There, he didn't, on whatever switches he had on some smaller guards, which they struggled in the finals trying to, is a switch onto Derek White. Luka's just big. He bullies those guys. I mean, this is the challenge of Luka Doncic. Smaller defender. I mean, someone like Al Horford, he gets him, gets him in the blender. He can get to where he wants to go, gets him up in the air, gets to the free throw line, able to pull up, hit his shots. Smaller guy, he's just too physical for those guys. So, there's not a lot of people that can. He's gonna find a way to get what he wants, and he wasn't getting it at all. And then he really did start to later in the game kind of get to his spots, be able to get down there, get people up in the air, and
made it very interesting.
So it did make it interesting, but that Al being able to that's really where it was won. Al being able to manage that without it being an issue all game long, up until the fourth quarter there, where again. It wasn't on Al necessarily, but where Lucas got going, and clamping down on those guys like they did in the third quarter. That was it. The Lakers couldn't find an outlet. They weren't moving the ball as well. They were trying to hunt matchups, and it wasn't working out for them. And in the meantime, the Celtics were getting what they wanted offensively. The way that third quarter started, it was just, a continuation of the first half. First possession. Switch onto Tatum. He takes Luka right to the basket. Second one, switch onto Jaylen Brown, gets him to the free throw line, rises up, hits a jumper. They got everything they wanted out of that Luka matchup. They started throwing it into Horford in the post against Reeves. So the Celtics were abusing those matchups, and the Lakers could not. And I'm giving my hard hat, my brownie, to Al for this game, because he
absolutely
Tatum and Tatum and Brown get the headlines, deservedly so, because they were amazing again. But Al was freaking awesome. And again, particularly how he was out there on an island, no other bigs really, at all to play in this game. You got 11 minutes out of Luke Cornett. That's it. KP sits again, and Al just held it down.
Yeah. And the thing about Al and what he was able to do is he's one of the few guys that can guard top tier talent at multiple positions. I mean, Luka is a phenomenal scorer. LeBron is he's the all-time leading scorer. And Al was able to make life difficult for both of those guys. And it says a lot about his versatility, but it also says a lot about his will to win. I mean, Al should not have been able to be as competitive for as long as he was tonight. And yet he was. And a lot of that has to do with him just literally willing himself to compete and not allowing either one of those guys to get comfortable. You don't have a lot of Al Horfords out there, and I don't know whether it was a conscious thing, but you did catch Joe Mazzulla slipping in there Al Horford for the Hall of Fame line. You did catch that?
I think that's a foregone conclusion, shot. You look at that Hall of Fame.
Oh, Jimmy, you think it's a foregone conclusion that he's in
the Basketball Hall of Fame, dude? You should take a look at.
Of course, he is.
Yeah, take a look at some of the people on that list.
Are we talking first? You're talking first ballot, or are we talking just in general?
Al Horford is in.
He'll get in. I don't think he'll get in on the first ballot.
I think when you take a look at his career and you take a look at the numbers, take a look at he has a championship, the longevity factor. I mean, he's one of the only guys still doing it from that draft class, shot, and he's still doing it. This guy's just not just.
I don't think he'll get in first crack. He'll get in, but I don't think he'll get in the first.
What if they win another one this year? Now he's got two.
I don't think he's a first ballot guy, but I do think Al Horford finds his way in the Hall of Fame. Yeah, real quick shout out here, NHC777 super chat donation. We do appreciate that very much.
That was a big shot.
Yeah, he wants to know. Jimmy, did you go give LeBron a hug? Did you tell him you loved him? I'm a LeBron stan too, and I have been for a long, long time. So I'm in that ball club, but I wasn't there stalking him like Toscano was tonight. Like, can I go to the Lakers, John? I'm like, yeah, Jimmy, Jesus.
I had to hold him back when LeBron came on the court, John.
Super chats are welcome. All proceeds go to the host. Thank you so much for sending them in. Anybody who wants to contribute, you hit that little $sign button under the chat. It's all appreciated. Also, you don't have to do your thing. We love having you guys here regardless, but these are appreciated. Thank you very much. Yeah, Jimmy, how was it?
I had
being in the presence of LeBron.
The presence of greatness. Listen, Whenever I get an opportunity to be in the presence of greatness, I take that opportunity. Okay. LeBron, you can love him, you can hate him, but at the end of the day, you can make the case that he is the GOAT. Tonight, it didn't work out for him. He's had some unbelievable performances against the Celtics in the Garden, against the Celtics on the road. But yeah, I had a front row seat to the shoot around before the game. Sherrod, you saw me over there. I got a couple videos.
I know I saw you.
Got a couple of videos. He was hamming it up for the crowd. I thought LeBron embraced the night pretty well. Of course, it's a national TV game. Listen, I'm not stupid. I know what LeBron does is a lot of times for the camera, for the show, but love it or like it or not, he's still the face of the league. Until he retires, he's the face of this league.
And we know that that's the most important conversation we can have in the NBA. The face of the league. It's all that matters. Yeah.
But no, I did not tell him that I loved him. I would have talked to him
How
after
about
the game
flop?
tonight, but groin injury.
Yeah, it was a bad one too. Like
Listen,
Jalen
that's
just
part of his
like
game.
grazed him, and he's like,
Le chin.
Dude, you can't tell the story about the Celtics without including LeBron James in that. I mean, going back to the championship that the Celtics won, and the times that they've come up short. I mean, they've had unbelievable battles against LeBron. They still are. I think tonight was and I know that ended up being a 10-point Celtics win, and they were up by a lot more than that, but it was a lot closer at points. A lot of times during this game, it felt like a neck and neck battle. And I think if you're the NBA, there's two matchups that you want. You want Celtics Lakers, you want Celtics Warriors. Anything else is gonna be a significant drop down, I think, in the ratings for sure. And I'll tell you what, if it's Celtics Lakers, oof, would that be fun?
David Stern would definitely find a way for Golden State and the Lakers to come through in the West.
He
I'll
would.
tell you that.
In honor of Stern, we got to figure out a way to make this happen.
Yeah.
But yeah.
well,
Another LeBron game.
I mean, LeBron was good. There's no doubt about it. And the thing that, and I talked with Vinny Goodwill of Yahoo Sports about this on the last episode, we tend to grade LeBron on a curve. He's really good. There's no doubt about that. But there were moments in this game where Father Time was in the building. There are times where LeBron didn't get back quite as quick as we've seen LeBron in the past. Missed some shots that he normally makes. And I'm not sure it was a fatigue thing. I'm not sure it's a Father Time thing, but it's definitely not what we expect to see from LeBron thing. And again, but we're going to say that he had a great game because he's 40 years old playing at this level. Now, did he have a great game, or did he have a great game for a 40-year-old?
Yeah, I think that's fair, Sherrod. I think that he obviously didn't hit any of his outside shots tonight, so he was lacking in that department. That would have boosted his stat line a little bit. 1 assist shy from a triple-double. I mean, he's still impactful. He's still doing a lot for this team. And when you look at this Lakers roster, he needs to. They've got LeBron, they've got Luka, and I mean, you've got some role players, but damn, I mean, Austin Reeves, after that, it gets a little hairy, on any given night. So he has to do a ton for these guys. And when he doesn't, you see what happens. But, it is crazy that he is still able to play the way he is playing. And I know that he did come up short tonight and there were some misses. And, but I would say overall, Sherrod, listen, Father Time comes for everybody. Tom Brady's no longer in the NFL, although I feel like he could still be. But LeBron James is going to do everything he can to keep him away.
We're going to see if Jimmy Toscano's got the scoop on what's going on with Kristaps Porzingis, who might be on death's door right now, the sickest person we've ever seen.
Honestly.
Misses another game tonight, even though he warmed up. Not quite sure what's going on with KP. We will talk about that a little bit later on in this show.
Well, it's simple.
Jimmy, you see how I'm setting up something right now? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get there. We will hear from the more folks from the podium, more from the locker room, but we're going to look at the back of Gary Washburn's head as I'm looking in here. I'm seeing Noah in my camera shot. It's not what I want to see right now, but also we do need to tell you about one of our terrific sponsors here at the Garden Report, and you know it here. You know what we're talking about. It is, of course, Prize Picks, a great daily fantasy sports app, super fun to play, super easy to use. You see it right here. You download it, use that promo code CLNS, play 5, get 50 instantly. And yeah, that's it. More or less.
More or less. You know,
It's
if you
always
took
fun
more-
to do more. I don't like to do less. More or less on 2 or more players win up to 1,000 times your money. That's all you have to do. Again, cross sports doesn't matter. It's great with the NBA action every single night. But you know, other sports is involved as well. Whatever you want here,
Sports.
you can get it at. We love sports. You can get it here at Prize Picks. And as we said, play 5, get 50 instantly. You don't even have to win. It just goes right into your account. Download that app. New users take advantage of that special offer. Prize Picks, baby. Run your game.
And if you picked more on Tatum threes in this one, I think it was 2.5. You hit your more in the first quarter.
He attempted what, 16?
6 of 16. Unbelievable. Yeah.
All right, sit up, old man.
Sorry, I'm just getting comfy.
Yeah, just chilling out over there.
Yeah. Feet up.
Yeah, he
I'm
definitely,
in section 18 of the Loge right now, guys.
You're doing
Looking at
good.
the court. I tweeted him a picture of my view if anyone wants to see day in the life or night in the life right now. That's what I'm looking at, is what I took a picture of earlier. I am inevitable. Yeah, exactly.
Sit up, Jimmy.
Yeah. I can get used to this, John. I'll come back. I'll do this again. I don't know
So
why.
I mean, for
Why
those
these
who
guys
don't know,
make it so like it's such a big deal.
yeah. So like, I guess let's lay down some history before we get into a little bit more about the game here. For those who don't know and think like the OGs, you know, like you think you're OGs here at CLNS Media because you've been following the Garden Report since we started doing it here when in that bubble season.
In the bubble, COVID.
I absolutely. You have a special place in CLNS lore, and you've helped make this show what it is, and it's great, and we appreciate you. But if you're a true CLNS OG, then you've been following along with Jimmy friggin' Toscano,
Baby.
doing stand-ups. And first off, I got to say hello, thank you.
Oh wow,
Poogie.
there, Poogie in the building.
I like that. Quiet KG. That's a nice way.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Quiet KG. He's quiet.
You're
KG.
the Greek 3-point king?
Hey.
O para Pugis.
For $50, I'll tell you whatever you want me to tell you.
Yeah.
He's the 3-point king. He's the Greek 3-point king.
Πρέπει να δεις τον Παραπούγι. Πώς παίζει. Yes.
What he said, yeah.
I said, you got to see this guy, the way he plays. Thank you very much for the super chat donation. The Greek 3-point king. I thought it was me until now. I guess it's not. No big deal. That's fine. That's
definitely
fine.
not you.
It's definitely not me.
By the way,
Jimmy is an OG. You go back, look at some of the old CLNS. You're going to see Jimmy Toscano with Nick Gelso, just as he'd moved to Boston to kind of plant his flag here. We're talking what, Jimmy? Would that be 20? When did you start appearing on the Garden Report? Like,
oh my
in its
gosh.
original form with Jared and Jimmy.
Yeah, I saw Jared
Weiss
Weiss tonight. Shout out Jared. He said hi to everybody.
Yeah.
A few of the Celtics players are coming out on the court right now. Actually, we got Luke's out there at midcourt. Maybe it's just Luke. Probably like, dude, it's been a long time. 10, 15 years. I don't even know anymore.
Damn.
It's been a while. I was doing it when I I was at NBC. I would finish all my work, and then we would do like a post game thing, like on the Garden. The place they'd be shutting the lights out on us sometimes, not all the time, once in a while. So 10 years.
No, Jimmy's from Boston, but yeah, the original Garden Report stuff 10 years ago was a get, and yeah, that's for you, Jimmy.
Wow, thank you, Jimmy J.
And for the OGs, thank you, Jimmy J. We do.
Jimmy J is an OG.
We also appreciate all of you. I know I saw a lot of you in there. We did a great fundraising effort for cancer research the other night with Doug Kide, who lost his daughter a year ago to cancer, his young daughter Hallie. And a fundraising effort there over on the Patriots. We got a lot of content. If you want to check out that show, you can. There's also
it looked awesome.
It was a great show. A lot of people, Fitzy, Andrew Callahan, Doug Kide. And then on top of that, you had Taylor Kyles from CLNS jumping in, Field Yates, Mike Reese, Bill Barnwell, all from ESPN, Tommy Curran. Sherrod Blakely was taking some of it in. He donated. It was an awesome, 3-hour Pat's pre-agency special. You can catch that on Patriots Press Pass, and there's information there for where you can go and donate. We took in a lot of super chats, about $1,200, $1,300
Nice.
for a great cause. So we appreciate all of you who are in there and who contributed. Thank you very much. There's still a chance to, if you want. And here's another $5 for Jimmy for that Jimmy
There you
sit
go.
up, Dad John. Yeah.
Is that going to make the
Sit up,
sit
Jimmy.
up?
Jimmy sit up just gave me really bad PTSD from from my entire childhood, but it's all good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why did Jimmy get banned in the guys? Who's saying I
Wow,
was
where'd that-
banned? Nick's got the year, John. 2011 or 2012. So it's been a minute.
Wow.
It's been a minute, a hot minute. But yeah, the show has definitely evolved and changed and grown. And now it is this beautiful disaster.
Some might say it was a hostile takeover, but that's fine.
Some might say
however
that.
you want to look at it. We were doing the show, and the first one we were doing, and it was Joe Sway, who used to be like, down at the Garden trying to set up these segments, and I'd be like, no, do it like this. And the first show we did, he started talking, and I just texted him. I was like, I'm hosting, and that was it.
Yeah.
He was like,
Yeah.
oh, sorry.
Yeah. And
That
it's
was
been
it.
downhill ever since.
Yeah, and that was it. I'm being told there's some locker room sound coming in, so we'll hopefully get to that in a little bit. Let's get through it, guys. I hate the two things. Not hate. I wish it stayed the blowout. I wish Celtics didn't kind of gas out a little bit in the fourth quarter, because this really was what felt like a really great, and it still is a really great win with great performances. And I hate that Tatum's final line looks as ugly as it did, because I thought before he started getting tired and a little bit lazy in that fourth quarter, it was like slow motion Tatum.
You think it's ugly? I wouldn't say his line is ugly.
It's pretty bad.
40 points, 12
shooting
rebounds,
wise,
8
assists. 12 for 28. I take it back. The shooting numbers,
if that's
don't look
ugly,
great.
damn.
The shooting splits don't look great because of the threes, because
Sure.
of the 4 shots late, because it was otherwise a near perfect game. And it was another one of those games where it looks like everything's moving in slow motion for him. His reads were just perfect. The way he was cutting, the way he was getting to the basket, nothing seemed forced. He was really just slicing through the defense, taking what was given there, doing a good job hunting mismatches, but not sitting on it too long and dribbling the air out of the ball, really attacking. I thought it was just an insanely efficient game. And again, we saw things from Missoula we haven't seen in a long time. I mentioned at the beginning, Tatum and Brown both playing in that first quarter all the way through. Then just Tatum that whole second half. That's not something Joe can get away with. But this was another one of those face of the league games from Jason Tatum here on national TV.
Yeah. And the thing about Tatum, and it kind of speaks to what you're talking about, John. His imprint was on this game all night. Even if his numbers don't suggest how dominant he was, he made so many of the obvious plays and the not so obvious plays, being able to, when there were times where LeBron James would be looking to attack and just play bully ball, and then there's Tatum closing off that lane, or someone else, making things difficult for the Lakers to get to the spots they wanted to. And Tatum was a big part of that whole process. So this was a good Tatum game, even if this was a better Tatum game than the numbers would lead you to believe.
Yeah. By the way, this is my buddy Mario.
Really?
Yeah. And by the way,
we're still keeping the 50.
Holy crap! Did he stripe it?
Can't take it back.
Still shoot.
Really?
Maybe the lowest release I've ever seen. He was shooting from his right above his, just these little flicks. But my goodness, he had range. He could hit them all.
The thing, and listen, I agree with everything you said, Sherrod. I love the way Tatum impacted the game tonight. I thought he was all over the place, and I'm sure, I don't know if you guys mentioned it, but the fact that both him and Brown played the whole entire first quarter, that was interesting.
Yeah.
You could tell that this was a game. Joe was going to say every game matters the same, but come on, like that's not really completely the case. They wanted this one. They wanted to set the tone early. They needed those guys to go the first quarter. But I loved the intensity that Tatum showed tonight. That was what really stood out to me. Even if the shot didn't go down, I loved the fire. I loved how he was getting pumped up. the dunk at the end of the second quarter to go into half. I mean, that could have been what fueled those guys, coming out of the halftime. Just the momentum kept going into that. And if Al Horford buried that half court shot, I think the roof would have blown off this place. But I loved what I saw from Tatum. It feels like more and more often, and we've said this in previous seasons, we're waiting for that like fire, that intensity, that like, yeah, this is Celtics Lakers. This actually freaking matters. This is you versus LeBron. We used to talk about Pierce versus LeBron, and now we're talking about Tatum versus LeBron. You know what I mean? Like, it's cool. It's something that you should get up for. And I understand that Celtics Lakers hasn't been like a thing over the last few years because, both teams haven't been good at the same time and whatnot. But it still means something. It means a ton to the fans. It means a ton to both organizations. And I think after both games this year, it should mean a little bit more of these players. JJ Redick, coach on the Lakers, has had some battles against the Celtics team too as a player, with the Sixers or whoever. And so there is a lot of, crisscrossing of why this matchup matters. And I think Tatum gets it. And the one thing I will also say, kind of love this. I think Derek White's mentioned it a couple of times, but the Celtics, the show right now, what's it called? The Celtics show on Max that's out right now. Somebody help me. Whatever. The show that's taking through the Celtics history. Like yeah. I think that's very cool that has come out right now because I think the players are going to watch it. I think they have all watched the first episode, and I wouldn't be surprised if Joe Mazzulla has made it mandatory for everybody to watch it and really grasp what it means to be a Celtic and what it means to be part of this organization and what the history means and what the rivalries mean. And if they are watching it, they're going to see a lot about the Celtics Lakers, and that might light a little bit more of a fire under them. It might inspire them a little bit more. So I wonder if Bill Simmons had anything to do with the timing of this thing coming out when it did. But the timing's great because now every Sunday they've got something to record or watch live and then learn about, because that's one of the issues I had with this organization a few years ago, like when it was Kyrie's team. It felt like the Celtics pride had been lost or forgotten. You weren't seeing the greats coming through the doors. You weren't seeing the current members of the team really show that they had pride in Boston and in the organization. But I'm hoping that this DVD show, I keep saying DVD like I'm freaking John. I'm hoping that this show, this collection, will kind of inspire them and even fans that aren't that familiar with it, remind people of what it means to be a Boston Celtic. Anyways, check out the DVD. You can buy it at Walmart.
The DVD.
DVD. Bring back DVDs, man.
We had to buy one recently.
Bring back DVDs.
It was weird. It was weird to buy a DVD. We rented out a theater for our twin's birthday, and we had to like provide the movie. I was like,
but now you own it. Like you own it. It's yours. Like all this stuff about buy it on TV. It's like you don't own it.
It's hilarious how DVD is what signifies you being old. It's like
I'm a boomer because I said DVD.
It's still like the only technology if you want to hold on to your own shit.
Yeah, stuff, like what if I want to like watch this someday? What if I don't have Comcast anymore? Yeah. And I just freaking paid $20 and now I don't have it because I don't have Comcast anymore. I want to buy the DVD, man. Anyways.
Yeah. Josue Pavone, Jimmy, the mic, you're killing me.
I just saw your text.
Yeah, Josue texting on our thread. DVDs are the new cassette tapes, I swear.
Thank you, Josue.
Pavone. Out there, we'll see. We get you. I guess Josue, we got to get you on.
Josue, I'm sorry. The Thunder have been replaced by the Lakers, my friend.
So let's ask real quick. This is kind of the talk here that people can't decide if it's real or not. Are the again, they were down. They don't have a big man. They were down their only thing close to a big man tonight. So that's going to change how they play. But are they real or not? Like, are they? Can they come out of the West? I mean, again, this is what's so weird is like I still think we're thinking of the Lakers as like the team that was like fighting for play-in status last year, instead of a team that's like number 2 in the now like falling a half game behind after tonight, entering tonight's game number 2 in the West. Are you buying or selling?
I'm going to sell. I'm
Yeah.
gonna
Wow.
Well, here's why. Because I keep thinking about this from the vacuum of a best of 7.
Mhm.
Not just who's the better team, who's the better best of 7 team. And I just think over the course of a 7-game series, Oklahoma City is going to beat them if they get there. They're deeper.
And no Rui also, I forgot, yeah. But go
Right.
ahead.
They're deeper. They have, frankly, more impact players. And I just don't think the Lakers have enough weapons at either end of the floor to withstand a full, healthy Oklahoma Thunder in a best of 7.
But Sherrod, we said this also about the Thunder. Who on the Thunder has done it? Until the Thunder do it, I don't really know if I'm confident to say that they're the team that's going to do it. Whereas a team like the Lakers, yeah, there's a bunch of players on this team that, again, probably have no business being in the NBA Finals. But take a look at some of those Cavs rosters that LeBron carried to the NBA Finals. LeBron's got the best teammate he's ever had now in Luka, right? So those two guys alone, Sherrod, I think if they can get hot, if Luka can get hot, and if LeBron can continue to turn back the clocks here, they can make a serious run. Now, I'm not saying
That's
that
a couple of major couldas you got there, though. You know, and the last one about LeBron turning back the clock, that's the one that I don't know.
Sure, but if anyone can do it, it's
beatable.
him, right?
I think OKC's
I think they're beatable. I think, listen, if the Lakers,
even though they've been amazing,
first,
they don't get enough credit for how good they are. But also, when you get to the playoffs, it's a different animal. I think the Lakers have a fighter's chance. I think Houston has a fighter's chance. I think Denver does. I think OKC is the best.
Houston's
team.
not there yet.
But what I will say is, like, you definitely didn't see the Lakers at their full, the way they've been playing lately. They weren't at the height of their powers tonight. Their defense has been incredible, which is amazing that they've had the number 1 rated defense, in the last 2 months and since the trade, which is, bananas. But also, just like Luka just frees up LeBron to not have to carry as much of a burden. And LeBron's playing the best basketball of the season. So LeBron's playing like a legit top 5 player. And Luka, if he ever pulls it together or gets himself into better shape, as the season, rolls on here, it's a top 5 player. Like 2 top 5 players used to just be the formula for winning. It's an insane amount of talent. And then you throw Reeves in there who can create his own offense as well. They've got enough there. If their defense is playing the way it's playing, you've got quite a bit on offense there to make things really, really difficult for people. So I'm not out. I'm not out on them at all. I'm not. I know you watch this game and be, they're not so tough. I like them. I like them a lot.
They're better. They're better than what we saw tonight. I mean, I haven't seen them play, a number of times.
They haven't played great teams, but yeah.
Yeah. I mean, when they beat New York the other night, New York going into that game was undefeated in overtime. And so they handed them their first loss, in extra session. So they're a good team. I just don't think that in a best of 7 that they are going to be able to play at that top tier level over the course of 7-game series. That's all.
It'll be tough for sure.
I'm throwing this comment up here now because this is something we talked about at the beginning. Yes, a game like this does show the Celtics can pick and choose. I think a lot of games in the second half in this run recently that they've been on showed very clearly the Celtics can absolutely pick and choose when they flip a switch. But it also should make you feel better that they can flip the switch and play at this level of intensity and quality, again, for the majority of this game.
Yeah,
that should make you feel better. As frustrating as it might be, there will be several more games this year when the switch is flipped to off. But it's nice to know when they flip it on, they look like this. And Jaylen Brown was a friggin' madman tonight. Trying to get back to the Celtics there. Madman. Like a sloppy mess at times, like out of control at certain moments. Maybe didn't take some great shots. Also was just a friggin' assassin. So aggressive. Just absolutely just going. And then the defensive energy was just off the charts. I loved seeing him pissed off. He was so friggin' good tonight. So good. And yeah.
So 2 things. One, the switch is very real. We can all agree that there is a switch and the Celtics can turn it on when they want to. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I think it's a great thing only because they've done it enough times where they should be able to do it in the playoffs. I was worried that it would be off for so long that it's not something that they could, be able to figure out again. But I was wrong to worry about that. And obviously in the playoffs, you don't need to dig deep to find inspiration or find a way to show up or get fired up about something. So I think if the Celtics can get completely healthy, and they were still without Porzingis tonight, but hey, they got Holiday back, and I know it had a little sketchy start for Holiday, but I thought he got more comfortable out there as the game went along. And just seeing him out there, I mean, people are talking about Malfinger, he's out for 8 weeks, What was it, like a week? I mean, we weren't talking that much time here. You're muted, Sherrod.
Yeah, I was saying it felt like he was out for just 8 hours. Not
Yeah,
8.
exactly. And he's doing Drew Holiday things out there, and he hit that corner 3, which was good to see. I do think he was favoring it a little bit, obviously, in the beginning of the game, and it might affect him a little bit. I'm not saying it won't, but as long as it doesn't, I don't know, as long as it doesn't get whacked or something, it's going to heal, and he should be good to go for the playoffs. So if these guys can get healthy, they're going to be really, really difficult to beat. And, whether or not the Lakers can pull it together enough to make it to the NBA Finals or not, I still think the Celtics have to be considered, based on them playing the way they did and being fully healthy. I'd still think, I'd put my money on them. A team that's been there, done that recently, and ran it back, and there looks to be like, in a position to do it again. And no offense to Cleveland and no offense to OKC, although I'm sure people, those fans would take offense to it because, but again, until I see those teams do it on the big stage, it's hard for me to choose them over the Celtics.
Yeah. So, Facts.
My dog.
I do have some sound coming in. We mentioned a little bit here, like I know was it Spears who went on with those guys who said that with Max, it said that Jalen is the reason Luka is a Laker right now. Not really, but the premise behind Jalen Brown doing what he did to Luka, showing how Luka has limitations because of who he is, and the limitations will continue and probably get worse as he gets older if he doesn't get himself into shape and start to take stuff seriously. Jalen Brown absolutely takes it seriously when he plays Luka Doncic, and we've seen that. Here's Luka after the game talking about his Lakers debut versus the team that sunned him and the person that sunned him in the NBA Finals last season.
We just talked to LeBron, and he said he's hopeful it wasn't the same as the injury he had in 2019 where he missed a long time, but you won't know until the MRI comes back and everything. What's the mindset for you and concern level for LeBron with the injury?
Yeah, I mean, hopefully it's nothing. Obviously, you gotta take his time. Those injuries are I wouldn't say the worst, but they're tough to deal with. So just take time, and we gotta have, as a team, next man up mentality.
What did you think the difference was in the second half when Boston kind of controlled the third quarter and then you were able to fight back in the fourth?
I think our defense, we got stops and then run. We play with a little bit more pace. I feel like second half we didn't have the pace we had in the fourth quarter especially. So I think that was the difference.
It looked like on the broadcast you were doing a little extra stretching. Just wonder, were you feeling the back or anything throughout the game?
Yeah, I mean, I've been feeling it since that fall, so just dealing with it, but I'm fine.
Okay, the one back in Los Angeles, we felt in the
but I'm
to go back to the fourth quarter run, I guess what kind of flipped in comparison with the third quarter with how you guys were playing offensively? What did you, other than I guess just making shots, like what did you see in terms of the way you guys were running your offense?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it takes making shots, to make a run. But like I said, it was our pace. We play with different pace in that fourth quarter, and we were just running around, getting good shots. I think we missed a lot of good shots today, but that was the difference in the fourth quarter.
Lou, you've been clear about your championship goal for this group. Obviously, you played this team in the finals last year. Did that finals matchup enter into your mind at all today, and just how much do you view them as a team if you are going to reach that goal that could be the team you have to beat?
Yeah, I mean they have amazing team, amazing players. Especially here, it's very tough to play and very tough to beat them. But yeah, obviously it comes to mind. My first final. You don't want to lose it. But that's what happens. So obviously it comes to mind sometimes.
Luka, what did you make of your first kind of taste of Lakers Celtics and the atmosphere? What did you think of it?
It was great atmosphere. Love playing in those atmospheres. Gets you going, gets you hyped. But we know Boston's very loud all the time, so it's like I say, it's always tough to play here. But it's fun for me. It's very fun.
What was it seemed like you guys handled their physicality a little better, particularly late third quarter on through the fourth. What was the adjustment that you guys made in that? And
Yeah, Lakers questions. Who cares? No one asking the no, Jimmy, that you're not, there's no sound.
Luka looks pudgy.
I mean, he's just looked this way. He looks
Jimmy, he's the perfect circle.
He is a perfect circle. For
No,
sure.
it's not pudgy even. It just looks like he has like
fat face syndrome.
no, just atrophy. Like he's completely like if he ever had a muscle, it's gone. It's really bizarre. You know?
Yeah.
And I look, that's some people's body type. It's fine. Like I said, Paul Pierce, who was a friggin' assassin and a very athletic guy, just didn't have one of those builds where he's going to look all cut up.
True.
He never looked like that. But I mean, he was fit, and he was. But,
Right.
Luka's certainly not. But he has legit lemon square Luka, legit no musculature at all.
Lemon square Luka is good. Nah.
That's
Yeah.
pretty good.
Luka needs a.
And yeah, I would say about 20. It's amazing, right? How easy would it be for him to just get in shape?
And how much better he would be, which is
and
scary.
How much better he would be because he looked awful. He looked so slow.
I'm worried
I believe
about him.
Jaylen Brown is at the podium. We're going to pop in here.
But any given night, I could be the best player on the floor, offense or defense. And my team knows that and respects that.
Jalen, kind of sticking with that,
Captain Brown.
this felt like a pretty intense and pretty physical game. I'm wondering if you went into this seeking to make it that way. And this has been a long season. I'm wondering how you're feeling after the fact, both emotionally and physically.
Yeah, I think it was a very physical game. They let it go on both ends, so you can't really complain. A couple plays I wish I could have back. But overall, we were aggressive, and we kind of set the tone for the physicality of the game, and right now I'm just enjoying the journey. Just focusing on my body, on my health, my
Journey,
mind,
drink.
my spirit. I'm just getting ready for the playoffs, and stuff like that, fasting, just increasing my conviction and my faith, but just getting ready for the playoffs and physically the toll it takes to do that night in and night out in the series on both ends. You got to be in incredible shape.
Jalen, I saw an interview a little while back
Shot at
you
Luka
talking
there.
about rhythm and cadence on defense.
Yep.
And it seemed like a couple of those
So I'm in good
possessions
shape.
when you switched out
Yeah.
on Luka, or not switched out,
This
but when you
guy.
came out on Luka, I mean, isolation, your eyes lit up, you sat into your defensive position a little bit more. Are you consciously thinking, I know his rhythm, or is that just the hours and hours of studying and you're just acting on instinct?
It's a lot of both. It's definitely a lot of studying. I think Luka's one of the greats. Like he is one of those generational talents. So I have fun watching Luka play offensively, like what he's capable of doing. Scoring the ball, like his talent is offensively. His talent is next to none. So, he's one of my favorite players on that side of the ball. So, I spend a lot of time watching.
But the other side of the
games
ball,
and things like that. So tonight I was able to make some plays, but Luka's a great player.
You talked about how excellent shape you have to be to play both ends of the court like that. In matchups like that, are you against the stars of the league, the guys you really respect? Do you try to turn it into like a psychological matchup kind of where it's a battle of wills, it's a battle of endurance, and they know that you're going to keep coming on both ends?
On night in and night out, it takes different things. Obviously, it's a journey, 82 games. Sometimes you get a matchup on a Tuesday in some random city, and you just mentally, physically got to be prepared throughout the journey of the season, which is tough that, Obviously, we don't make excuses as athletes, but it takes a lot to go into that and perform at a high level. But when you get towards the playoffs, matchups, you get more detailed. You got more time to just focus on the details of whatever that matchup is or whatever that team is, and things kind of like get more intense. Throughout the season, a lot of times the basketball is like, teams are just either going through the motions or whatever, but when the playoffs come around, and it's a difference between the regular season and the playoffs.
Jalen, what did you think of the atmosphere tonight? It just seemed like it was different. This game was seemingly more important.
Yeah, it was a great atmosphere tonight. Shout out to the Celtics fans. It felt like a playoff type intensity. Obviously, the history between the Celtics and Lakers is prevalent. So tonight, I feel like both teams came in and brought it from the jump. They started out the gate hitting shots. We matched them, hit some shots. They closed it back late. We was able to create some more separation, but it was a great energy game. Today was not one of those regular season normal games where it's whatever.
Like a Tuesday in Charlotte.
Was a good day for basketball.
Joe tries to say that every game has the same significance, but Jason played 45 minutes. You played 42. It seemed like even to him, it was a little different.
Yeah, for sure. That's his job to say that. But even, like today was definitely Celtics, Lakers,
Yep.
Two big time matchups, teams like we wanted to win tonight, so we did what it took to win for sure.
Finally, the truth. Thank you.
The transition bounce pass to Al Horford and then the slam dunk. Do you think he heard your comments about?
Sorry, I killed Abby.
Sorry, Abby.
So Jaylen Brown, we didn't talk about it because we were kind of having three conversations at once. Like I said, this is like
Jaylen deserves a moment.
Yeah, it's not just we jokingly don't talk about Jaylen. It's just like
and that was talking Jaylen.
That was talking Jaylen. But every time I say it, like I said, it sounds like I'm taking a dig, but it's not. It's like there's Jaylen who might drift through a quarter or two and then just explode, and all of a sudden you're like, whoa, he came on. And then then there's this guy who just comes out there like a man on a mission early on and does this. And again, I really do respect the fact that it is extremely difficult for offensive players to play two ways for 82 games with this level of intensity. And almost every superstar starts to play less and less defense as they get to around this age. So again, I just don't think you can expect it, but knowing that they can do it is the difference. And so when you talk about, older Celtics teams, Jimmy, don't make me say it. Don't make me say it.
Sorry. I was getting comfy.
Damn it.
I was getting comfy. I thought you were about to go on for a few minutes here.
Older, but they can still see you.
I didn't realize it.
Jimmy's like,
you're not off the screen when I'm talking.
Hold on. Let me just. All right, now we're good.
Okay,
right?
Jimmy, sit back, relax, buddy. But it's like some of those guys who coast can't do it.
Right.
He can't, like these guys can, and that's the thing is like we had old Celtics teams where we'd be like, well, they look okay in the regular season. It gets to the playoffs, it's a different game. This level of intensity and the way teams ratchet it up here, and 5 years ago, whatever, they are that team, which is like, oh yeah, we played them in the regular season. I thought we handled them okay, and then they kick it up to 11. That's a problem, like when your two best players can play defense the way these guys can when they're doing it, when they choose to do it. Holy shit, it's game changing. So like he wanted it, man. I love it. I love that he takes this. I love that specifically he takes the Luka thing personally. Like for some reason he's like, this is my job. This is what I've put on this earth to do. I'm going to shut this dude down.
So that's the beauty of Jaylen Brown is he gets up for those matchups. He gets up for the big games. That's why he was the MVP, right? In the NBA Finals, just because he embraces those big moments. He loves proving people wrong. Oh, you think Luka's the best player on the court? Oh, you think Luka's the best scorer? Guess what I'm going to do tonight? I'm not going to let him be that guy. Jaylen Brown was all over the damn court tonight. you could just do a highlight reel of Jaylen Brown's defense on Luka tonight, and it would just it would just be like steal. It would be, you know, another steal. It would be, you know, just good on ball defense. He was all over Luka tonight. He was fired up. The dunk he had too. And then what? He like inadvertently kneed Luka hanging on the rim a little bit. That was a nice little touch there. Luka flopped on it. He was flopping on the hardwood, flailing around, wanted to call, didn't get it, obviously. Again, same with Tatum. Those two guys, they had a fire under them tonight. And I do love that about Jaylen Brown is nobody gets up. Nobody has the ability to get up for games the way he does. And when he does, that really can be the difference.
But here's the thing, though, Jimmy. When you see this and you're a Celtics fan, it's got to feel bittersweet because you love what you're watching, but then you ask yourself, why can't we see this more often?
I think there's a fine line. And Jaylen, I think, almost kind of answered that a little bit tonight. You know, talking about how he's protecting himself and taking care of his body and doing this and doing that. I think part of that is knowing when to go 110% and knowing when to not. And I'm not saying that he purposely takes games off, but you can't play like that every game. You can't go that hard because that's recklessness and that's putting your body in jeopardy and that's putting, you know, your health in jeopardy and the team in jeopardy. You know, you need to be able to be on the court and play. So you got to pick and choose, I think, in certain cases. And this team is talented enough, Sherrod, where, you know, you might be able to go 75% one game. Yeah, you're not going to, you know, maybe not get yours. You're not going to show up on SportsCenter's, you know, top 10, but you're going to get out of there with the W and, you know, going to be like good team basketball, defer to some other guys. Like Pritchard's going to have his nights. You know, Jaylen Brown even said there's going to be nights where we just go to Pritchard. You know, those have been happening a little bit more often. So I think for the big ones, though, it's understood. It's like, hey, man, okay. You're going to
like almost 46 minutes. Joe said afterwards.
Sorry, Jimmy,
like,
I'm just popping them on
it's
here.
rivalry.
I was going to let you finish.
There's times you have to give you and Jaylen a chance to really be a part of it. Do you kind of know going in that's going to be the case? How are you kind of handling it throughout the game? And also, like, what's the value of kind of a workload like this with playoffs starting to get here soon?
Yeah. You know, I've been around Joe long enough, kind of know where his mind is at going into certain games. So I knew tonight was going to be one of those 40-plus minute nights. And like you said, it's regular season. They all count as one. But special to be a part of this rivalry with the guys that, you know, we have on both sides. You know, you want to be a part of moments like this. As a basketball fan, I'm certain they enjoyed it. It was just two really good teams going at it on both ends of the floor.
To have LeBron and Luka targeting Al and he's consistently getting stops and then getting Austin Reeves forces on switches and scoring at the basket against him, just how much of a lift on the court and emotionally and as far as what he brings from a leadership perspective did he give you guys tonight?
Yeah, Al is one of a kind. You know, is the anchor, you know, to our defense and the heart and soul of our team. Keeps us, you know, emotionally steady. The things that he's still able to provide in year 18 is remarkable. You know, I don't think that gets talked about enough. Being an intricate part on a championship team in, you know, year 18. And we wouldn't be who we are without him. So what he brings on the defensive end, like you said, we feel comfortable with Al switching and guarding his yard and making it tough, you know, on whoever, knowing that, you know, we all on the same page and helping behind, but, you know, we're not worried about, you know, who Al is guarding. And then, you know, just making the right reads on the offensive end, ducking in guys, you know, knocking down open shot. I'm the biggest Al Horford fan there is, so I love that guy.
Jason, Jaylen in the first quarter, he plucks Luka 2-3 times. Al switches out on LeBron James. The whole crowd is going. He gets a stop. Is defense contagious for you guys? Do you guys start to feel the momentum reciprocate on offense when guys are getting stops like that one-on-one?
Yeah, big momentum swingers. Sets the tone for our team. The crowd gets into it. When you see, you know, the oldest guy on our team, shit, I guess two of the oldest guys in the league going at it. You appreciate that. You know, I was kind of sitting there in awe, like, you know, these guys are 38 and 40 playing at a high level. You know, that was a special moment just to be out there and see, you know, them compete against each other.
Jason, with that in mind, knowing LeBron is 40 and you've had so many memorable games over time against him, do you find yourself cherishing these a little more right now because you don't know how many there are left? And it seemed like you guys had a moment together before the game. And are these things that much more special because of kind of where it all fits together?
I mean, absolutely. You know, somebody that
who let the LA media in.
Yeah, I've been watching LeBron play my whole life, and playoff battles, some good regular season battles against each other. Somebody I have a really great relationship with. You know, won a gold medal this summer with each other. You know, just respect the.
All right, we get it.
He's good. I think he's a good player. Thanks, JT.
It's fine. I don't care. But that's good. I mean, look, a hat tip. There's never been anybody who deserves more adulation and more credit for what he's doing, but seems to receive only 90% of the conversation around him is negative or trying to bury him as it is LeBron James. It's really a bizarre thing. Like, this is like a once in a million years sort of athlete, like not generational. You will never see anybody play this sport at this level ever
for this
at
long.
This age. At 40 years old, he's got his career stats of basically close to a triple-double across the board. It doesn't happen. It will never happen. It is so ridiculous. We almost take it for granted and don't talk about it. So
no, people take it for granted. You
take it for granted to the point that you're just not talking about it. It's hilarious. Right. It's hilarious. Like, people might be tired of the LeBron show and his histrionics and his disingenuous behavior with some stuff, and like the fact that like he just is weird and goofy and corny sometimes, or just always like feels like he's acting. I get like not loving the LeBron show. Not appreciating LeBron the player is insane to me. So I get why there's so much of the chatter about it. It's just it gets boring. It's boring.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're talking about
nobody
it all the
wants.
time.
Yeah, nobody wants to hear me go on about LeBron anymore. I think the chat's had enough. But I've said how I feel about him. You know what's interesting too is I'm not comparing the players, but I am comparing kind of like some of their like Tatum gets a lot of hate too around the league. But people call Tatum corny. People think Tatum complains a lot. People think he flops. People have a unusual dislike for Tatum, maybe for different reasons than they do LeBron. But these are two basketball players that are at the top of their game. And they're at the end of the day, there's just a lot. People are haters. And if you're really, 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 really good at something, there's going to be a lot of people who are going to want to try to tear you down for that. And the greats are able to block it out and ignore it or use it as fuel, like LeBron, like Tatum. You know, there's a bunch of people that if they just listen to the negativity, they wouldn't be where they are today. So that's always going to be there. They don't boo nobodies. So, there are some parallels that I bet you Tatum can even get, or things he can learn from LeBron and the way LeBron's handled criticism over the year. Even with the success that he's had.
Right. If you're Nick Gelso and your like stance is like LeBron is bad, like, I mean,
yeah.
Okay. I don't like him, so I think he's bad. Like, obviously he's not.
He
bad.
sucks.
Like he's
not
LeBron.
bad.
He's amazing. He's amazing.
Yeah, and he's
and he's still amazing, and he's playing at a ridiculous level right now. So, you got to like that.
I think we got a LeBron.
We do have LeBron. We have some interesting LeBron comments. I am going to throw them out there, and again, people just don't. This is probably the fine. If you don't like his brand, I get it. Whose
brand do you like, Nick?
He's cringy to me, because I do think he's always acting, and it's a bit of a show. I don't love it, but he's still LeBron, and
who's not though?
He's out of his mind. He hurt himself. He left this game. I don't think it really impacted the final result there. But we did catch up with him in the locker room. Amit jumping in there, fighting through the scrum. And an interesting comment from LeBron James about we were talking earlier. Are the Lakers for real? An interesting comment from LeBron as it pertains to how he sees the Lakers, stacking up with a team like the Celtics and the NBA's elite.
First anyone in this league, so we'll be fine. We got to continue to build our habits, though. We're not where they are. We're just defending champion. And,
not where they are.
We've been playing basketball together for a long time, and they got a great chemistry and know what they want to do. We made an acquisition late in the season, and we're still trying to build. And we want to get full. That's the number one objective for us. How we can get full and get all our guys together and see exactly what we look like. So, we feel like we compete versus anybody.
Not there yet.
I will say this
There yet.
for this comment. Kobe Bryant nicknamed himself. For all of you Kobe stands out there, he nicknamed himself. I want that to be known.
The Black Mamba.
Yeah, he decided that's what he wanted to be called, and people called him that. So
I
that's
think a lot of people have called LeBron.
I'm done with this show. Okay.
No, don't go. No. Stay.
Please come back.
Oh, shoot.
We're out of here.
Damn it.
That's something nice about LeBron.
Well, wrap it up. He left. The show's over.
I'm Black Mamba. I'm deadly. Right? When I
wow,
score,
Kobe
it's
taking
deadly,
ricochet.
like
Kobe taking
Black
ricochet
Mambas,
shots.
They're deadly. Anyway,
The king.
the
Hey, not a
king.
lot of people live up to the
Right.
nicknames.
If you nickname yourself the king and you have a career like LeBron James, guess what?
Yeah, you can keep
Came
that
out on
nickname.
top on that one. You're all right.
Yeah.
You could have called yourself anything. Cutie pie. Like, doesn't matter. Like,
Yeah.
you're fine. You get to pick your nickname. You get to pick it. It's great. The King. The Big Mac. So we've played a lot of time. We're gonna get Noah on here. We want to talk hear from her on this game as well, and then we are gonna wrap. But we're still hanging for a little bit. We're not done yet. Couple things.
I just saw Noah walk by.
Couple show announcements I want to mention here. Earlier I'd said help us raise money for cancer research. This was part of our fund. There she is. Hey Noah.
Noah, say hi. There she is.
There she is. This was
What
part
up?
of our fundraiser we talked about at the beginning of the show. We did a massive Patriots show on our Press Pass YouTube channel last night.
Really good.
Hosted by Andrew Callahan, who does the Pats Interference podcast here on CLNS, right? Obviously, terrific football writer for the Herald as well. Doug Kide, who lost his daughter Hallie to cancer a year ago. And this is what this is all about. And Fitzy, who works over at EEI, they were the hosts. They had an amazing group of guests. You can watch the whole program over on the Patriots Press Pass, or you can watch it in chunks, whatever you have. We've chopped it up for you as well. And that includes Taylor Kyles from CLNS. You had Field Yates, Bill Barnwell, Mike Reese from ESPN. You had Michael Hurley from ZLX, Megan Ottolini. Also, did I mention Curran from NBC?
No, you didn't mention Curran this one, but yeah.
Tom Curran.
Wow, Curran, huh?
Amazing. Yeah, Curran was, anyway, he was on.
Was he on fire?
It was just, he forgot. He forgot that he'd committed, and he was the last guest, and they were spinning their wheels. He came on. He's like, "I'm mortified." Anyway, I'm so sorry. And then he just, stayed on forever. He's like, "I love this cause, and I can't wait to do it." And then he was in his golf simulator, and they're like texting him. Anyway,
That's awesome.
But this is the key. It's on the screen. You see the QR code. Raising money for cancer research. You have still time if you get it in tonight. Any donations $50 plus are going to be entered into a raffle where you could win club seats to the Bruins and Florida Panthers upcoming game. Probably aren't going to see Brad Marchand as he's still nursing a shoulder injury, and pour one out for Brad. The story gets sadder and sadder, but that's not what this is about. It's about raising money for a
Don't
good
get me
cause.
started.
You see it right here. This is where the Venmo is. You can donate money, anything, $1. It doesn't matter. Dig deep. Reach out, anything you can. It's a terrific cause. And it was an honor to be part of it with CLNS Media hosting the event. Really good stuff. And also, like I said, check out the content. Terrific football talk. Everyone having a good time. A bunch of pros. It was a really, really, really amazing experience. So check that out. Another thing we want to tell you. for those of you who do like our Patriots coverage and content and all of the different things that we have over there. And again, it's a host of different shows and podcasts that include Greg Bedard, Andrew Callahan, who we mentioned, Nick Cattles, Alex Barth, Brian Hines, Mike Giardi, an incredible roster, and obviously our own supremely talented Taylor Kyles and Mike Cadlick as well with their Patriots Daily. But Taylor Kyles, for those who don't know, one of his massive strengths is film, and he's deep into it right now. His film breakdowns and a bunch of other really cool exclusive content is available with exclusive memberships. If you join for bonus content, check it out. There's a few tiers there, and you get opportunities to catch some of our exclusive content, some of Taylor's really good deep dive film reviews. And also there's going to be chances to chat with the hosts in private chat rooms, AMAs, where we'll do shows and we'll let you just come in there and dictate which way the conversation goes for those people in the top tier. So this is a cool little thing that we're doing. And I have asked before, and if Ahmed is there, Ahmed, maybe you can put a poll in the chat. Would you be interested if the Garden Report were to do this as well, some sort of premium content that we could offer you? I'm not really sure what we would do. Jimmy could do a little dance in a hat.
I like that.
Yeah, what else you like?
Your people can talk to my people.
We can do some stuff, but some of it would involve just more opportunities to get to connect with you guys, the fans and the viewers. So if you are interested at all in that, let us know. I'll put this up one more time just in case anybody did want to check it out and donate to that cause that we mentioned before. Once again, help us raise money for cancer research. Donate via Venmo right there at Facts and Productions. Check it out. So back to this game, Jimmy, and we've talked about Luka. We've talked about LeBron. We talked a little bit about Al earlier, but I wanted to circle back a little bit there. It is interesting how quick this season, I don't know why it happened this season more than any other I can remember. I guess you're always just waiting for it, right? When someone gets old or when someone is kind of reaching that thing, everyone really wants to be the ones to definitively declare that they're cooked, they're washed, right?
Yeah.
And all season long, we've been doing it with Al. We're doing it with Holiday also, which is crazy. But this is another reminder. And again, he played 37 minutes, which means the next game he plays, he's going to be trash because this is usually the pattern. You can't do this to poor Al, but it's the same guy. I don't know what he's the same dude. The most amazing thing about him is it's not slowly, a little bit. It's not off a cliff. He's the same guy. The fact that he's this switchable defender, the fact that he can get out in transition and run, the fact that he's still so spry, the fact that he can defend multiple positions, still get in there, work it in the post against a mismatch if you need it, knock down the threes. He's the same dude. And it really is remarkable. We're going to bring in Noah as well, who took in the Celtics Lakers as well. Noah, we're talking Al right now, but it doesn't mean that's where we're going to. Jimmy, she's back there.
She's right there. I was trying to figure out how her lighting was so much better than mine, but I know why now.
Do you have a light?
I don't have a light with me.
Well, there's your thing. Noah's got a light.
I know. I saw.
I got another light. Do you want my other light?
Dude, you've had two lights this whole time. This is like Dumb and Dumber when
he's had an extra pair of gloves.
2 pairs of gloves, and I'm.
Jimmy, go get the light. Jimmy's coming up to you. Okay, he's gonna be right there. There it is.
He's about
there
to
it
have
is.
this on
Give
him.
it to him. I want to see the exchange live on television here. Live on.
It's really tangled. That's the problem. He's gonna have to untangle this. Jimmy, you're gonna have to untangle this light.
This is the type of premium content we can offer.
I'll
Okay?
just stay here. You go there.
No, I like this light.
If you guys could see.
And
this
now
light-
he's trying to commandeer her lighting and telling her to move. Jimmy.
Yeah, you're gonna have to work through
do
this.
off
Work
camera.
through this. Yeah.
I kind of like your light better than mine. Can I have that?
I could solve
This light?
I could solve a
No, I'm just
Rubik's
kidding.
faster than this.
I just got this one.
Okay, we need Jimmy to talk less if he's going to be there because we want to hear your actual insights on the game.
Jimmy,
Oh, no.
shut up.
Jimmy froze Noah. He pulled a plug
Yeah.
on her. Okay, go ahead.
Let's talk Al. So I think just honestly, I heard the tail end of what you were saying about just people wanting to call Al washed, like that type of thing. And I don't know that I even really see much of a drop off over the last few years with this guy
At all.
Like there have been lulls. Yeah. he looks exactly the same. Like that's the real, you know, in the big games. And I've been wanting to ask him for a while, and it almost felt kind of like I don't want to be like you're not as good in the bad games, but if you look at all of his top scoring games, they've literally aligned perfectly with opposing teams having star players with big time matchups. And I asked him about a post game, and he pretty much said like, you know, I know that they need me for these games. These are the games that are all about defense and rebounding and kind of doing the little things. That's where I thrive. And he was like profusely nodding when I like he knows it. He knows that he's way better. Jimmy.
All right, that was a mistake.
And so yeah, I think that's one of the stories here. Obviously, Jalen's going to get a lot of credit as he should. I felt like from the beginning he picked up where he left off in the finals, and Luka got hot in the second half, and that's inevitable. And he clearly has a lot of respect for him. But the fact that at the end of the day, like this has been your starting center for most of the past 2 seasons. This was your starting player in the playoffs, your starting center in the playoffs. You know, they don't miss a beat. Tatum called him the heart and soul of the team. I think we really don't talk about it enough. And it's easy the occasional games where he kind of falls flat versus random young centers, like whatever. But when it's prime time, like he has been there every time. And he was so crucial to the championship run. And I think there's no reason to think that he can't do it this playoff run because he's showing us the exact same things he was showing us last year.
No, nothing from you, Sherrod. We're gonna look in a Jimmy Cam right now and see if he gets in there.
God.
There's Jimmy Cam. While we wait for
the thing about Al just when I watch Al play, I think about that line that Paul Pierce used to have, and that about just giving the game what it needs. And it seems Al consistently does that, gives the game exactly what they need from him. You know, a lot of nights they need him to be a top tier, you know, switchable defender. Other nights they need him to, you know, go to, you know, Atlanta Hawks Al and take guys on a block and get buckets around the rim. Sometimes they need him to knock down a corner three. He delivers whatever it is that they need him to do, and he's consistent with it. And I'm glad that he embraces the reality that he is not going to play every night. And so when he does play, he has to play at a really high level. Jimmy Toscano. Gotta love him.
It was so distracting when he was over here.
Oh, I could just see it. Like you're just like, there he is. What's up, buddy?
This is so Jimmy.
What's up, my man?
This is Jimmy in every sense of the word. This is Jimmy.
So we have a problem.
Oh boy.
So
we're past that, Jimmy. We knew that.
Have you guys been talking shit?
By the way, Jack. Yes.
Here's the thing. This is gonna take a U.
I don't want to listen to it. We'll let Jimmy figure it out. Okay. We'll let figure. While Jimmy figures it out, we are going to hear from Al Horford talking about his game here. Hold on.
When you realize, like, okay, they're coming after me tonight.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of have to, you know, prove yourself out there, and I don't mind doing that.
Seems like you're especially active on the inside offensively. Was that something that just developed in terms of how they were guarding you?
Yeah, I just think it just happened. We saw some advantages there, and we wanted to exploit it. And, we did it for a period of time, and we found some success with it.
You guys have had this run of games against the Knicks, the Cavs, the Nuggets, now these guys. You have the Thunder Wednesday. Is it nice to have a stretch of games like this about this point in the season to give you some energy?
Yeah, I think it's good. It's good for us. And it's good to play at this level, of ball. And these guys been playing really well. Won 8 straight, I think it was. So yeah, I think that these type of games are good for us.
What have you learned about your group over the past couple of weeks, if anything?
This group is. I don't know if I learned anything. I would just say that, I know what we have. I know that, when it's time to go, we'll be ready to go. And now we're just trying to get better as the season goes on. We understand that, there's a lot of improvement in front of us, and we're not full strength. Obviously we're waiting, for KP to be back. I feel like we are doing, we're playing good basketball.
How remarkable is the job that
What's
Jalen
interesting
did?
to me, Noah.
Yeah.
Me too. What's most interesting to me, what's funny is I've kind of gone through all of this, this season with this team, and it is hilarious. and this is not a knock on reporters because you got to ask questions. It's like, oh, you're not playing bad. Is there a reason you're playing good? Have you figured something out? And they must be sitting there like, guys, we're freaking fine. Like we're fine. We won it's the same guys. We won the title last year. Like we're fine. But they have to humor us and answer these questions, and then we have to talk about it. It just is kind of funny. And like Al, they do a good job going through the motions, but they have to be thinking this whole time, like, yeah, we've always been fine. Oops, sorry.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh my
Jimmy
God,
back?
Jimmy looks amazing. You can go up. Nope, the mic doesn't work.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. We can see you.
Here's the thing. I had to MacGyver this.
Nobody cares, Jimmy. Nobody.
I had to MacGyver the whole thing, but it's all good.
Okay, good.
Noah
Good.
looks a little bit more glowier than I do, but we'll have to figure out. She has a better light than me, but I'll take this. This is all right.
Why don't you
Maybe
guys?
she's not like Jimmy. Maybe she just has
She
a
looks
better
like
glow than you, period.
She looks
That
like
you
gooey.
like that I always use. So this is my first day with this one. So no excuses.
You have like a filter going on though too. There's something else happening. I'll figure it out.
Yours
We'll
is too
figure
bright
it
though. I'll show you another
Right?
time.
Whoa.
I think I think you're right, John. Obviously, like there's been a discussion internally of like, is this team the same team as last year? Is there, have they fallen off? I think the reality is though that they never one moment, and I pointed to this a lot of times this year, they never once showed us any crack in their confidence, never turned on each other, never said like we haven't been consistent, we're not locked in enough. They never gave us that. And I'm sure behind closed doors they had moments where they had to have some more difficult conversations, but the fact that it never came to the media was always to me like a sign that they did have this kind of unshakable confidence in themselves, and they weren't worried and all that. And Al's a good sport. He'll always answer those questions. Some guys are more over them than others. But the reality is, I do think like you've seen this entire season, like they've gotten up for the big matchups, and the lowest moments came during the easiest stretches during the season. And it makes a lot of sense. And Al embodies that more than anybody probably. Jalen does too. Jalen's another guy that I think kind of rises to the occasion when there are primetime matchups, when there are big
You
time
can
games.
take that comment down now.
And he acknowledged it post game.
Yeah, my favorite Jalen comment was. I mean, am I wrong, or was this an obvious dig at Luka? The you got what do you need to do to be good? Well, first you got to be in good shape, like really great shape, like really, really, really great shape. Like I don't think that's a humble brag. I think that's a
a ricochet shot at Luka.
That was a shot.
Is it personal?
I didn't think so.
I don't
he
think
has
so either. I
tremendous
don't think
respect
he's
for
going to
Luka.
Luka, but that's how it's going to be interpreted.
I don't
That's
know,
what
John.
I choose to believe.
I actually feel like every time he's been asked about Luka, and there have been a couple of times in the
Praises
finals
him.
last year,
Yeah.
he really respects the guy, and you could tell
Yeah.
even, I watched, in between timeouts and things, like him and Luka have good banter. They get along well. It's kind of interesting because as much as he has this competitive fire with Luka, you can tell he doesn't like dislike him or disrespect him or anything.
He gets
So
up
it's
for it.
purely, it's almost like it's a compliment how much he enjoys going at him.
Yeah.
I do think he appreciates the fact that he has been observing Ramadan. He has been fasting.
Yes, and he talked about it. Yeah.
And I think that like he kind of wanted to draw attention to that a little bit. So he's just somebody that's willing to kind of openly praise himself. I think not everybody will do that, and I think he is. And I view that as more of just like him wanting to make sure that people know that that's
Yeah.
the kind of shape that he's in.
Other question I want to
I
ask.
just googled Willie Loman. What the
Yeah.
hell? What the hell is that all about?
Why do you ask? It's a death
Somebody
of a
said I
salesman.
look like Willie Loman.
It's like a sad sack sales guy. Death of a salesman. That's what they were saying. Sorry.
You hearing this?
I don't know. Just talking to you.
No, I wanted to ask you
Unbelievable.
this question. It was interesting. JJ Redick's done this recently, and he's done a really, really good job coaching the Lakers here. Especially in the last month or two. But they've not only been playing well, but they've been coached up well, and they've been game planning opponents. The Denver game from a week or so ago, maybe a week and a half ago, is a great example of how they chose to play. Almost like they were like trying to play like you'd see more in the postseason than a regular season sort of game. I think Joe felt that tonight. Like, I don't want to be out coached tonight, and I don't want this guy to come in here and, and game plan for us. And it felt like Joe clearly coached different tonight, and it begins with the rotations, with playing Tatum and Brown the entire first quarter and the majority of the third, playing Tatum the entire second half, shortening the rotation. Sherrod was saying not even like playoffs, like finals type of rotation tonight. And Joe even acknowledged a little bit like, yeah, we wanted to, kind of win this thing here. It was interesting, his approach going into this game.
Yeah, my take on it, because I was kind of acknowledging at one point that this game didn't actually mean anything. Like the standings are not super close.
Not much changes for the Celtics.
Yeah, not much changes, right? And they don't need the confidence boost or whatever. But they bought into this game mattering. And my guess would be that they did that because you have to do that. You can't just go from 0 to 100 from the regular season to the playoff games. You heard everybody talk about it post game, but it's an important exercise, I think, to be able to get up for these games and to be able to see them through and to be able to kind of leave it all out there. And that's what they did today. As far as JJ goes, I mean, we know how much respect JJ has for Derek White, for Pritchard, for Joe, for various guys on this team, because he literally, his podcast, like, gushed about the Celtics the entire year that he was in the media. And they're really good friends. And they, JJ talked about it pregame, like how much he respects Joe and everything. So I did feel like there was a little bit of that chess match, a little bit, but a lot of the things that have worked for the Lakers against other teams just don't really work against the Celtics because they don't really have clear points of exploitation. Like, that's kind of what's made them so great this past 2 seasons. And we were even talking about it. Like, I think Joe's a great coach. I really do. Like, I have a lot of respect for him, and you can tell that people in the locker room kind of have their full faith in him, which is the most important thing. But he also has just been blessed with this roster where you really are, you're starting like way ahead of everybody else as far as what you're able to work with. And it just kind of clicked for me today watching it. Obviously it's not news, but just seeing like they don't really have guys you can take advantage of. Even like a guy like Sam Hauser, Pritchard, like they held their own today. Hauser's been the one guy that people can pick on, but he holds his own much better than most guys that are kind of exploitation points for other teams. So yeah, it stood out today that he's working with a much better roster too, alongside the chess match that was going on.
Yeah. Is it weird that when every time LeBron switched, Hauser had to switch on to LeBron, I was afraid? Not for like the result, but for Sam. I'm like, oh, Sam. I was like, please be okay. I don't know what it is, just seeing him next to like just the LeBron, and like I'm like, this doesn't look right. And he held his own, and we mentioned limited action from the bench. Luke made the most of his minutes with a couple of tip-ins and good contributions there. Neither Sam nor Pritchard. And again, the Lakers did a good job keeping him off the 3-point line. Celtics lost another 3-point volume battle, which is, again, a trend that we continue to see here. And they did have to settle for some mid-range and stuff that was closer to the basket. So, another kind of hat tip to the game plan. But those back-to-back stops when those guys switched on to LeBron, Pritchard and Hauser were actually pretty big plays there in like the final minutes of LeBron's stint here on the bench. So I thought Hauser was relatively competitive once again, even when they tried to pick on him in his few minutes. And I think that's why they didn't play tonight. I think they already saw what the game plan was, where it was going to be switching on to Al early, and Al was able to hold up fine there to create those mismatches. I don't think they wanted multiples, because that's what the Lakers were dealing with Luka and Reeves out there, and the Celtics were able to hunt what they wanted to. I don't think the Celtics wanted to put themselves in that position in this game, so maybe that's why they didn't play.
Yeah, and I want to say I really do hate to do it, but I actually thought Pritchard played a really good game today. He didn't. You look at the box score, you would never think that.
Sparky.
But he was in the right place at the right time. Defensively, he brought the energy that the game demanded. And this was a perfect example. I mean, obviously, everybody talks about box score watching, but I was looking at the box score and I was obviously watching the game, and I was thinking to myself, this might be like the epitome of a game that you would not realize somebody actually had a good game here based off of the production. But he did what he had to do, I think, to maximize those minutes. And obviously, the gravity that he has offensively is kind of night and day from what it was a year ago. In this case, it resulted in him really not scoring, but the gravity was still there. I mean, they had Jared Vanderbilt face guarding him at 30 feet. So that has really helped them to have another guy like that too.
Yeah, as Drew Holiday put it, and we don't have that sound right now, but really good defensive effort from everybody, even the white guys. I think is what
He loves that
Drew
line.
said. He loves that line. Yep.
He loves that line.
Yep.
He looked
But
over at the white guys in the locker room too when he said it.
he's like, "That's cool. That's all right. Good.
Yeah, he's like,
We good? All right, we're good. I got it."
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, all around great game here. I mean, I know, there was a lot of love given to Tatum and Brown and the way they played. I think, Tatum got tired in the fourth quarter, and it affected kind of the overall picture of his performance because he was near perfect in terms of the way he was reading the game and reading the defense there and able to get to the basket when he, and really kind of carve up that defense there. And Brown's energy all night long was terrific. But other things, I mean, even those things that stood out to you.
yeah. I mean, I think the main thing is just there's clearly another gear this team can reach, and they I don't even think they played their best game today. A lot of stupid mistakes, like Jalen, for example. Jalen made a lot of mistakes tonight. Like he did
Jalen
not
was
play.
all over the place. Yeah,
all over the place. Yeah, I mean, he had some highlight reels that turned into Shaqtin' Fools like moments later.
Yeah, sometimes I was like, is he blind? Like, did he not see that guy? Like he was dribbling it, but then he'd make up for it with like, 2 or 3 better plays, but he was all over the place.
Right. So that's why I think just this game just kind of reminded me that this is what this team looks like when they're facing another top opponent. And we've seen it of late. I mean, obviously Cleveland, they blew that lead, but the Knicks, overall this season, minus a couple bad quarters, like they really have stepped up and played really well against the top teams in the league. And the Lakers had a ton of momentum going into this one. I'm sure Luka wanted nothing more than to get revenge. This is the first time he's played here since the finals. He's on this new team. It's the first 8-game winning streak of his career I saw before the game, which is wild. And he clearly really wanted this one, and Jalen picked him up the same way that he left him in game 5. So there was a level of like, I don't think that he owns Luka whatsoever. Like Luka still put up a ridiculous stat line in the second half. I think he had 24 points. But you could tell that like from a mental standpoint, they're ready for these kinds of games. They really are. And it elevated my confidence in them, I would say.
I agree. I think that's the main takeaway. That other gear is there. And when they get there, it looks like this. The thing Jimmy was about to deliver some reporting on this, but I think he got distracted. But maybe you also have some insight here. The Porzingis stuff is getting odd. I don't think it's like conspiracy theory, but it's like I don't know how much clarity we have on it. I guess the safe assumption is it was a significant enough illness to weaken him to the point that he just doesn't have the juice to play, But I he's out there shooting, and I think you tweeted, Noah, like you were equally surprised to see that he wasn't in there as much as you were to see Hauser, who looked like he twisted his ankle pretty good last game, and mallet finger, Drew out there. They both played. Porzingis does not, even though he was out there warming up, and it really felt like this was the game he was coming back, and still is going through his warm-ups, coming out and being like, I don't have it.
Yeah.
So I mean, any more clarity or understanding what's happening here?
I mean, I don't have any breaking news. So other than just like watching a guy who's clearly just trying to get his wind back. That's what it is. I mean, I think he was really sick. I think it took a lot out of him. He's still dealing with like the after effects of it. I don't think he's like contagious or anything like that, or he's hanging out with the team, but he just doesn't have the energy to, stay out there and play at the NBA speed. He can go out there and shoot jump shots probably for an hour straight, but he's not going to be able to run up and down the court, in NBA speed and go back and forth and, body up LeBron. He'd be a liability out there at the energy level that he has. So he's just not able to get back to where he needs to be at. I think it's coming, but, might still be a few days away. I don't think it's anything more than that. I really don't.
I don't either. Honestly, like I get worried, like from a personal standpoint, just because like there are times where things are illness and next thing you know, it's a blood clot. Or there was a WNBA player I was covering last year who had like sepsis, and we were all like, oh, she has a long flu. So like my brain always goes there just on a personal level. I don't think this is one of those cases. I don't think he would have been out here warming up, and he's clearly not like in the hospital,
on the bench,
like bedridden,
contagious,
And the other thing is just like I got the flu this year, and it honestly didn't hit me that bad, but there have been a bunch of NBA players this season that have missed like 7, 8, 9 games for the flu or whatever the virus that's going around this year. So he's not the first. I think it stands out when it's him because he's had so many things and everybody just wants to see him play, and he keeps missing big games. But I'm not overly worried about it. I was really surprised because he literally wrote on Instagram yesterday that he was going to play. So he warmed up. I mean, he went through everything.
Yeah.
He probably just felt like his strength wasn't quite there. He probably lost like 10 pounds or something. It was probably one of those.
Red Sox
yeah.
top prospect Roman Anthony down in spring training, same exact thing, was away from the team with the flu. Alex Cora reports today that he's lost 10 to 15 pounds while he
There
was
you go.
away. So again, yeah, it is a thing.
I think that is what Porzingis had. I think he did have some strain of this flu, and they're saying it's the worst flu in 20 years. So I'm sure everybody knows somebody who has it. I mean, Noah's like Superwoman; she was able to overcome it without any issues.
Go
but
vegan.
a lot of people, see, there you go.
That
I'm
vegan
the furthest thing from vegan, and I had it for a day. Also,
Oh.
You didn't
I
have
got-
it, John. I hate to say it.
You didn't have it,
bud.
John.
You didn't
Of course
have
I
it,
did.
bud. No,
when
you didn't.
when you're shivering so bad that your teeth are chattering, and then you go to like 104 degrees, that's the flu. I had it, but I got over it in about a day and a half.
No.
Yep.
Here we
Had
go.
it.
My hero.
So, it's not veganity, I'll tell you that.
I don't know. It might be.
I never heard that word before, and I never want to hear it again.
It's not the veganity of it all.
Veganism?
Well, I hope Porzingis doesn't turn to veganism.
I'm not as veganatious as
So the season.
Kate Cunningham, vegan. So,
yeah.
All-star season.
Okay, that's
There
true.
you go.
That's a good point. Point taken.
Kyrie Irving.
But I think you're going to see Porzingis out there soon. It's just he's still coming back from it.
Yeah, we've all gotten flu shots, guys. We don't need lectures. We got them.
I actually
it evaded it.
I actually did get a flu shot this year
We all got them.
because I saw how many people were going down. I said, not me, not today.
Yeah, not today.
Veganity, is that a new word?
Yeah.
No.
It is today.
I'm
I like
I'm
that.
making up
I
shit
really
to get
hate
it
it.
in the bracket.
I really like. No, I think that could catch. You should run with that.
Veganity?
Is Jimmy sit up? Will Jimmy sit up, make its way into the bracket?
It might.
It's like Linsanity.
Yeah,
but
it's like
it's
veganity.
Yeah.
That could be your new
T-shirts. No,
podcast
a trademark. I'll give it to you. I'll give it to
Veganity.
you.
Yeah, no. If you,
Going right in my donations bin.
Okay, thank you. So Porzingis, I'm not concerned, but it is weird that it's taken this long. But whatever, it's not. I don't believe this is going to be
are you
like
calling out his toughness?
season
Is that what you're
ending.
trying to do?
No, I think he's wiped.
Feels like
He's
you're
wiped
calling
out.
his toughness. I don't like that.
I think you just can't get off the mat. That's
He's
fine.
trying. Look, he's trying. He's out there
Yeah.
shooting.
It is
around.
wild when you think about it. Like, how many games did he end up missing for the surgery? It was like 20, under 20, and he's already missed 6 for this. It's kind of weird when
Yeah.
you think about it.
And the weirdest one is that he played one. He was out a game, and then he played, and then it was like
He probably
nope.
thought he was beating it, and then he woke up feeling like a million times worse. But
Yeah, so that is
listen,
a little
they've
bit.
been great without him. So
Yeah. What's our next one? Monday, Utah, and then Wednesday, OKC. Utah obviously feels
I'm so excited for Utah.
crappy. Yeah, that's the big one right there. Noah's had circled right there.
Hayden Springer pregame. Svi Mihaila gets his championship ring.
Oh my god.
It's my dream.
The question is, does Svi
It's the game of the year, really.
does Svi get more of a tribute than Grant?
Yes.
Or about the same?
I don't
Can they even scrounge together like a highlight?
I was talking to somebody about that earlier about like could they even make a tribute video? I think they could. Get that
Yeah.
dunk.
Yeah.
It will
Well,
be.
actually-
It will be.
I'm always surprised
Yeah,
by
that
his
dunk.
hops. All of a sudden, he'll pop into your feed doing something ridiculous, and you're like, "Holy crap!" He's just surprisingly. I mean, I don't want to say surprisingly athletic because he's a white guy. I just forget it, and then you
But you
see it,
did.
and I'm like,
But
"Holy
you did.
crap!" Like he can friggin', But he does. Right.
Yeah, wow, I
He
forgot he
throws
won
it
a
down. Yeah. He throws
like
it down. And then OKC, the last fun game of the year. Is that it?
That will be it.
Yeah. Well, they play the Knicks once more, don't they?
But
That won't be
like
fun.
Noah said
It's
earlier,
very late though.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter by then.
movement. They're locked into the 2. Nothing really matters at this point. That's just, I mean, we kind of know what's going to happen here. So that's their last prove it game, the OKC game. Obviously, like, look, you got a little revenge. You had a really, really, really bad game when you were out in LA against the Lakers, kind of a low point sort of moment in the season. So it was nice to get clear of that. And they did it. That was a full roster game where they lost to LA. That was one of the more shocking losses of the season. The way they played out there it wasn't competitive for a minute. But the OKC game is that one we really want back. So that'll be a lot of fun here. And like that last litmus test, you expect the same effort in that one, Noah, in terms of like everyone's going 40 and we're just going to pin it. And here we go to the bench. Like nobody in the bench is coming and we want to show you that we've got this, because this is it right now, right? Like you finished your season series with Cleveland and with a bad taste in your mouth by blowing a 22-point lead, albeit one that was early, which isn't quite the same as, later in the game. It doesn't matter. They still, Cleveland outlasted them. They were a little shorthanded, but that's that 2-2 versus them. Last time you played OKC, the second half, they absolutely took it to you. How much do you think this is going to matter to them?
I think they're going to want this one. OKC also did them last year in OKC, and I think the game that they played in Boston, they were without SGA, I believe, and Jalen Williams potentially too. So they're going to want this one, but I don't think they're going to be able to recreate the atmosphere of today in the regular season again. It had all the makings of like Luka just got traded. It was Luka's return from the finals. LeBron didn't even play in Boston last year. He's playing. Everybody, I think this game was a very unique confluence of factors that made everybody kind of lock into another degree. I'm sure they're going to care and they're going to try hard and all that, but I don't think we're going to see Tatum play 45 minutes against OKC. I'd be surprised to see that.
No, not happening. I just don't see it happening.
I think it is.
Really?
I think they're going for it.
Thanks, Boochtron.
Thanks, Boochtron. Shout out to Springer next game. Thank you for the super. Thank you to everybody who donated.
Yeah, we had a good donation.
We do appreciate that.
Awesome.
Yeah, I think they're going for it. I think they want to. I think that's like, I think they want to test themselves. I really do. I think they want to see what they've. I also think of the pride of a champion, whether it's a Joe decision or a player decision. Like, do you want other people to think they're like, you think you're better than me? Like, I don't think they want that. I don't think they want to go down to OKC twice. I don't think they want to lose here. I think that is like this level of intensity type of game. You can't manufacture it in terms of what the crowd does. That's always going to be different when, Celtics and Lakers hits differently. I think they're all in. I think they're going to go. I think you're going to see this type of effort from everybody, with hopefully Porzingis back too.
Thanks, my dog.
That's where I'm at. I'm looking forward to it.
I would relish it. I think it'd be fun for the fans that are here.
It's fun for everybody. It's fun for the Garden Report. This was a good.
This was fun.
Good night. In terms of interest and people who were up late. It's we're approaching 1 a.m. so we are going to wrap this show. But we do appreciate everybody who joined us. There'll be more, of course. To support us by subscribing to the channel here or Celtics All Access, wherever you happen to be watching the show. You can catch a lot more Celtics content and obviously all of our interviews as well over on our YouTube channel. Last shout out I'll give you, if you want to help us raise money for cancer research, you got one till tomorrow. The drawing, I think, is noon tomorrow. $50 donation or more gets you entered into a raffle for 3 premium Bruins tickets, face value probably in the $600 to $700 range, maybe more for that to take on the Florida Panthers. So that should be good. That game is coming up. But more importantly, donate to a good cause. Go check that out. You see the QR code there for the Venmo account on the screen. Once again, the Celtics defeat the Los Angeles Lakers 111-101 in what was at least 3 quarters worth of one of the more fun, entertaining, complete all-around performances. And there were some sloppy moments in there as well, but it was just high energy, crazy fun, super, great game that everybody that I know got to go to except for me. And I'm really happy for all of you guys that you took it in. Jimmy Toscano,
can I go again?
Look
can I come back
at the guard. Does it look natural to you? It looks. Is this a good fit?
Jimmy was very in his element, I have to say. I was trying to show him around. I forgot.
Noah could not wait to ditch me. I think it was like 3 minutes in. I turned around and she was gone, and I was like,
"Yeah, well, he was doing too much socializing for me.
I can't hang."
So
I was like, dude, I gotta say hi to my peeps.
Yeah.
I haven't seen some people. And
I
Noah's
left
like, deuces.
Exactly. It's when you've been gone for a while. When I show up at one of these things, it's just like, just grab ass for like 2.5 hours with people I just haven't seen in a little while. But yeah, Jimmy's an OG. Jimmy spent some time. Jimmy's put in his time.
Noah like thought she had to like show me where like the
Well,
press
he thought
box
pregame was in the hallway.
No, I
so-
just forgot.
He
for a
was like,
minute.
"Oh, it used to be back in
Oh,
my day." It was
I
a
needed
scrub
to
in
be
the
shown when they
hallway, so-
reconfigured it. I was like,
Well, yeah, when they
where do
reconfigured
I
it.
go?
Yeah, the first time I had no idea where I was, but
Yeah. He also sorry, 10 minutes before Joe's pregame press conference, he said, "When Joe is in 2 hours," he said, in 2 hours. So he would have missed all the pregame things.
she's begging me to ask him a question, do her job for her, and I was like, I ain't asking him a question. I don't even, and it's a good thing I didn't because he was not interested in talking.
No.
Which apparently I guess that's
Pregame is not the
that's
time.
the pregame. That's the
That's
norm.
the time. He was locked in. You
Yeah,
could
he was
tell Joe
locked
was
in.
locked in tonight. Yeah.
Yeah, he was.
He
locked
wanted
in. We were all locked
nothing.
in. I gotta say.
Yeah.
Noah was locked in tonight too. She knows her way around the garden pretty well. So
Thank you. It took me 45 games.
Garden
so-
Report is in good hands. I will say that.
Good job, everybody. You'll hear more from Jimmy and Noah on our, like I said, over on our All Access channel. Thank you guys for watching. We will see you back on Monday night as they take on Utah, and then Wednesday OKC. That should be fun. That's going to wrap up this long homestand that they've been on, and hopefully, finish on a good note against OKC and get a little revenge for the loss earlier in the season. We are out. Thank you for watching the Garden Report. We'll see you on Monday. Good night. No one's sneaking a vegan brownie by me, I'll tell you that.
Okay, you know what, John? We're gonna do it.
You have to feel that way too, Bobby.
I have to
Same.
feel that
Same
way.
to you.
Let's fly Al over and make Luke your first center.
Bobby, we gave you Luke an hour early. We're not going to end this on a damn conversation about Luke